What's up, everybody? It's Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and we're going to find out if the Whitespace Montano is a wise buy for you. So the Montano really is one of the most surprising boards in the Whitespace lineup. It has a little bit more of a medium flex overall, so a very, very versatile feel. And then it obviously has a directional shape. We've got much longer nose, it's a little bit wider, and we've got that shorter tail with that swallow. So when you do get this thing into some deeper snow, it's gonna wanna sit the tail down and lift the nose up. But when you are riding this on flat snow from contact point to contact point, it's gonna feel a little bit closer to a twin tip board than you would think. And then it does have a camber through the majority of the board, and it goes to a little bit of rocker before you get to the kick. So this gives you all the power of the camber through the middle of the board, but then having that rocker is not only adding a little bit of float to the nose of the board, but when you're initiating turns, this thing isn't going to jump on the edge and take off. It's going to have a little bit easier, smoother feel, and it's going to rely on the tail to kind of push you in and out of your turns. And then when we go inside of the board, it has their ultra-dense Triax fiberglass. And what makes this fiberglass special compared to most standard Triax fiberglasses is that when they weave this stuff together and those strands are going through at all three directions, it's getting pushed together and really tightened up. So it actually is going to have a little bit more fiberglass from tip to tail and side to side in the board. But obviously, since it's all still on one plane, it's not making the board any thicker, and it really isn't adding any noticeable weight to the board. But what it is adding is a lot of spring, a lot of pop, a lot of power, stability, and durability. It really is beefing the board up like crazy, but when you feel these things, they are not heavy at all. And as if that wasn't enough, they also have carbon stringers going at a 45-degree angle on both layers of that fiberglass. You know, the really cool thing about that is that when you put that 45-degree, it's adding that spring and pop along the length of the board, but it's also adding power from your bindings out towards your contact points to really help this thing dig into the snow a little bit better. And then obviously, since it is still running along the length of the board, it is adding stability. So if you do land a little heavy on the front or a little heavy on the back, the board's not going to mush on you. It's going to want to set you down to that middle stance to keep the board feeling extra solid under your feet. But what really sets this carbon apart from a lot of other boards is that those strands and those stringers of carbon are actually woven into the fiberglass. They're part of the fiberglass. So this is not adding any thickness to the board at all. It really is keeping the strength and helping to keep the weight down on the board, but it's also carbon that's working with the fiberglass instead of against it. So you are getting a better ride, better spring pop and power overall. And then when we go to the bottom of this thing, it's going to have a nice high-end centered base. It's going to be really durable and very fast. But what really sets this apart from a lot of the other boards in the Whitespace lineup is that it does have a little bit tighter side cut, so you're going to get those tighter turns. And then it is a little bit of a volume shift board, so you can downsize about 3 to 6 centimeters from what you would usually ride. A lot of people that jumped on this board and rode something that was a little bit closer to the size they would usually ride said that it actually felt a little big. So having that volume shift and that ability to drop down a little bit is really a huge, huge advantage. But is the Whitespace Montano a wise buy for you? Well, this is definitely for those intermediate to advanced riders who want something that's very versatile that can ride the majority of the mountain, but they want something that's going to excel when they get it into the POW. Like we said, it does have that medium flex overall, so it does feel a little bit closer to a traditional all-mountain board, whereas most freeride boards are usually going to be in the medium stiff to stiff range. But when we're talking about that ultra-dense fiberglass and that carbon inside, when you start to ride fast and you start to carve hard on this thing, it really is going to push back like a board that is much, much stiffer. And then like we said, when you get into the powder, it does have a little bit of taper on it. It's only about 4 millimeters, so it is making the nose a little bit wider, but it's not a lot of taper, so it's going to feel weird when you're riding switch, but you really are getting that extra float from that little bit of rocker, that extended kick on the nose, and that little bit of a swallowtail to help sit the back down. This really is one of those boards that I always tell people, don't let the shape fool you. It looks like a freeride board, but it is a surprisingly versatile board that you can take just about anywhere. But if you got any questions about anything we talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel, and make sure to head on into your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the Whitespace Montano for yourself. But if you don't have one nearby, no problem. You can always look them up at sunandski.com.